Kirby has been so many different things since he first floated into our lives in 1992. Besides his dozens of transforming copy abilities, he's been split into 4 differently colored Kirbys, turned into yarn, warped into a ball we controlled on the DS touchscreen, and so much more. And now that he's hopped back on the Warp Star with the release of Kirby Air Riders on Nintendo Switch 2, we thought it was the perfect time to look back at the history of the pink puffball. Here are IGN's top 10 Kirby games of all time. Two iconic Nintendo heroes were split into 4 different versions of themselves on the Game Boy Advance: Link in The Legend of Zelda 4 Swords, and Kirby in Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. The latter is a 2004 GBA platformer that took advantage of the system's link cable functionality to allow 4 players to adventure together, calling each other on a cell phone to regroup if they ever got split up. Just make sure the batteries don't run out. And even if you played Amazing Mirror on your own, it stands out thanks to its light Metroidvania setup. Rather than adventure through linear levels like pretty much every other Kirby platformer, Amazing Mirror's branching paths let players explore levels in different orders at their own pace. Before becoming an industry celebrity thanks to the Super Smash Bros. Series, Masahiro Sakurai directed the humble Kirby's Dreamland on Game Boy. Back in those days, Kirby was white instead of pink, at least on the North American box art, and he didn't have copy abilities. But the 1995 Game Boy sequel, Kirby's Dreamland 2, improved on everything the first game set up, bringing Kirby Adventure's copy abilities into the fold, and introducing the iconic rideable animal friends like Rick the Hamster. It's a classic example of a bigger, better sequel, and our pick for the best game in Kirby's original Dreamland trilogy, even though we really love the pastel art style of Dreamland 3 on Super Nintendo. Kirby's debut outing on 3DS took full advantage of the handheld screen, as Kirby Triple Deluxe, a wordier way to say Kirby 3D, sees Kirby platforming in the foreground and background in very unique ways. Its main hook is the Hypernova ability, which makes Kirby suck harder than he's ever sucked before.
What the hell did you just say?
Essentially turning his stomach into a black hole. This is used in all sorts of clever puzzles, including one level where Kirby eats an entire train like it's a light snack. It also introduced one of my favorite subgames in the series, Dedede's Drum Dash, a rhythm game where Kirby's best frenemy bounces to the beat in stages set to familiar Kirby tunes. Kirby's Adventure is an important entry in the franchise, as it's responsible for introducing copy abilities. And it wasn't just 2 or 3, Adventure came out swinging with more than 20 different powers for Kirby to steal from enemies, setting the blueprint for every Kirby game to come. It also established both minigames and Kirby's longtime rival, Meta Knight, as staples for this series. This NES classic got remade as Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland on the GBA in 2002, which we're picking as the definitive version because of its improved controls and additional content it brought with it, like the bonus Meta Nightmare mode where you can play the whole campaign as Meta Knight, another new wrinkle that would become commonplace in future Kirby games. But shout out to the NES Kirby's Adventure cover, where Kirby is literally eating the box art and revealing the endless void that lies underneath. Kirby's Epic Yarn is probably the easiest game on this list, which is saying a lot given the general approachability of almost all of the Kirby series, but it's also one of the most charming. Developed by Goodfeel instead of series steward HAL Laboratory, Kirby's Epic Yarn transforms the pink sphere into, you guessed it, yarn, completely changing the aesthetic and overall gameplay. There aren't traditional copy abilities. Instead, this Kirby simply morphs himself into a yarn submarine, car, or parachute as he travels with the adorable Prince Fluff through an arts and crafts themed world. It's relaxing, beautiful, and fits in right alongside the best Kirby games despite being so different. Kirby Air Riders is only a few days old, but it's already one of the all-time franchise greats. After more than 2 decades away, Masahiro Sakurai returned to the franchise he created to take another crack at Kirby Air Ride, which was a fun but somewhat underbaked experiment back on GameCube. And Sakurai didn't let any part of this second chance go to waste, creating a definitive sequel that feels like the ultimate realization of its simplistic one-button racing formula. Air Riders is packed with modes, unlockables, and tons of little details that show how much love and attention went into its development. The racing is frantic and fun, but the star of the show is still City Trial, the battle mode collectathon hybrid that's a wonderful throwback to local multiplayer modes from the N64 and GameCube days. Its unconventional controls aren't going to be for everyone, but if you go along for the ride, you'll find a fantastic Kirby game that's brilliantly unique. Return to Dreamland on Wii was the first traditional home console Kirby platformer since Kirby 64: The Crystal Shards, which we love but narrowly missed out on our top 10. It delivered the classic Kirby adventuring fans were craving, but introduced fun new copy abilities like Leaf and Water, had multiple well-hidden collectibles to track down in each level, tasked players with mastering every copy ability in its challenge rooms, and a lot more. Most importantly, it's a blast in local multiplayer, allowing up to 4 friends to play the entire campaign together as either Kirby, King Dedede, Meta Knight, or Bandana Waddle Dee. Return to Dreamland got a fantastic deluxe treatment on Nintendo Switch, adding a bonus epilogue and a ton of returning sub-games from across the series, complete with dozens of achievements to chase, so we've gone with that version here. Sakurai is known for stuffing his games full of side modes that all build around the same gameplay foundations, and that tradition started in Kirby Superstar, the Super Nintendo classic that hosted a small handful of bite-sized adventures to run through. These were repackaged and expanded upon in the excellent DS remake, Superstar Ultra, which brought everything back and added even more, like continuing the tradition of a Meta Knight campaign established in Nightmare in Dreamland. Superstar's biggest strength, though, is its sheer variety, collecting every last treasure in the Great Cave Offensive, racing to eat more treats than Dedede in Gourmet Race, or infiltrating the Halberd as terrified crewmates discuss the best way to stop Kirby. Every mode offers its own flavor, and it all comes together to create the strongest game of Kirby's early days. Every game series takes a different approach when transitioning from 2D to 3D, and fittingly for this franchise, Kirby kept things delightfully simple by keeping its formula largely intact as it made the jump. Kirby and the Forgotten Land is a fantastic realization of classic Kirby platforming in a 3D space. He hops, floats, and dodges just like you'd think he would, and the upgradable copy abilities work seamlessly. Its most memorable new addition is Mouthful Mode, which lets Kirby wrap his enormous mouth around a car, staircase, or even a vending machine, making for fun puzzle platforming that proves this isn't just a retread of Kirby's greatest hits. Forgotten Land also takes some inspiration from the 3D platforming greats like Super Mario and Banjo-Kazooie by sprinkling hidden collectibles and secret objectives across every level, and it's a joy for completionists to hunt down every last Waddle Dee to send back to town. The best Kirby game of them all is Kirby Planet Robobot, an unassuming sequel to Triple Deluxe on 3DS that turned out to be his finest adventure. That's largely thanks to the Robobot armor, a hulking mech suit Kirby pilots across the campaign, complete with its own unique copy abilities. While Triple Deluxe's Hypernova and Return to Dreamland super abilities felt more like gimmicks relegated to set-piece moments, the armor is seamlessly integrated into the stages, leading to fantastic puzzles with the most depth, variety, and challenge in the series, especially if you're trying to collect everything. Robobot expands upon Triple Deluxe's foreground and background platforming and features some of the coolest settings in the series, as a mechanized planet pop star is just a great idea that ties each world together. Robobot is an absolute treat, and we can only hope that Nintendo re-releases it on Switch or Switch 2 sometime soon so more people can experience the best Kirby game of them all. There you have it, IGN's top 10 Kirby games of all time. Would you inhale this list or spit it out? Are we leaving off your favorite? Drop a comment and let us know. For more Kirby, check out our review of Kirby Air Riders, or our Nintendo Voice Chat podcast that posts new episodes every Friday on the IGN Games YouTube channel and your favorite podcast app. And for everything else Nintendo, stick with IGN.